Hey everyone, we're back for another deep dive. This time, we're tackling something every high performer grapples with. Whether you're in business, coaching, or athletics, it's something that can either make or break you.
You're talking about grit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The relentless drive. And to really unpack this, we're going to be looking at Coach Ed Padalecki's work, pulling some great insights from Caroline Adams Miller's book, Getting Grit, and also the thought-provoking ideas in The Science of Regret.
I think what's so interesting about Coach Padalecki's approach is how he takes these concepts and makes them tangible. Like he really zeroes in on this core idea from Miller. It's not about never failing, it's about understanding that failure. Well, it's a necessary part of reaching for something truly great.
Okay, so let's dive into that a little deeper. We're talking about this grit mindset. You're facing a big challenge, maybe a make or break business deal or a championship game. How does someone actually shift their thinking to see failing as a step forward, not the end of the world?
Right, and that's where the connection to the science of regret comes in. Coach Padalecki talks about this idea of what's called poor affective forecasting. Basically, we tend to overestimate how bad we'll feel if we fail.
We think it's going to be this huge, crushing thing, and it doesn't turn out to be that way.
Often, not even close. What ends up being more damaging? It's that nagging thought of, what if I had tried? The regret of inaction.
Which brings us to Coach Padalecki's point that grit isn't something you're just born with. It's something you cultivate. It's a skill. So for the folks listening who think, well, I'm just not a gritty person, what's the encouraging takeaway there?
He's adamant that grit isn't fixed. You build it through the choices you make. It's like when an athlete trains a specific muscle group. You're doing the same thing, but with your mental toughness. And he gives this really practical framework. The first part is accepting failure, seeing it as a source of information, not some sort of judgment on you.
Data, not defeat. Okay, I like that. What's next?
Next is taking risks. You've got to be willing to bet on yourself.
Especially for the folks listening who are already high performers, a business leader thinking about making a big move or a coach wanting to shake things up with a new strategy. How does Coach Padalecki talk about this betting on yourself idea?
He really pushes you to weigh the potential regret. Like, what will it feel like if you don't take the risk? Especially because, for high achievers, just staying stagnant can be a big source of unhappiness in the long run. Stepping outside that comfort zone, even if it means a setback, well, that's how you really grow.
And the last piece of this framework, it's about keeping moving forward.
Right. Which, I know, sounds obvious, but when you've hit a roadblock, how do you actually do that?
Yeah, especially when that failure feels really fresh.
It goes back to that learning cycle we talked about. Reflect on what happened, but don't get stuck in the negative emotions. Figure out the key takeaways, and then, most importantly, apply them.
So you're turning those setbacks into valuable experience. Now, Coach Padalecki has a three-part challenge for everyone listening. First, think about a goal, a professional or athletic goal where fear has held you back. Just pinpoint that. Second, take one action, even a small one, towards that goal today.
Don't overthink it. Just take a step.
And third, and this is key, reflect. After you take that action, how did the fear you anticipated compare to how it actually felt? What did you learn about yourself, about the situation, about your own resilience? How can you use that going forward?
Because ultimately, I think this is where Coach Padalecki's message really hits home. When we look back, the biggest regrets aren't usually about the times we fell down. They're about the chances we didn't take, the potential we left on the table.
So true. So as you think about everything we've talked about Coach Ed Padalecki's work and these really insightful sources, what's one what if you can start tackling right now by leaning into that grit you've already got?
Yeah, and remember, you can always build on that grit. Keep pushing, keep growing.
Here's to all of you becoming even more resilient, even more unstoppable, and unlocking that potential you have.
We'll see you next time.